Hey, welcome back. It's Emmett here. Secrets of the Comic Shop here at Haven for Heroes. Special guest today. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but we're gonna be talking about digital footprint. And this is a thing that, you know, maybe you came out of the IT space into the comic book world. That's great. You don't need any of this, you know, shove on or just watch it so that we have views and leave long comments. But no further ado, Ryan, introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Ryan Haylett, CEO of Modularity Networks, doing web design, SEO, and social media for as long as I can remember.
What we want to talk about, start out with is social media, because that's probably where you get your feet wet, maybe even before you open your store, or if you're working out of your house, or if you're just an online dealer. A lot of social media, you want to drive people to certain places. So let's start out talking about that. Give us a couple of the different platforms that you use, and then some of the things you can do with that.
First of all, I'd start, make sure you are getting all of your names the same as what domain name that you want to get. So get your Twitter, get your, or X now, get your Facebook, your Instagram, and your LinkedIn at the very least, all set at the same domain that you already have without the .com, .net, whatever you're looking at. That way people know, like, it's the same one. It's the same guys that I'm always going to.
Being familiar, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can start that brand consistency as well.
Because once you've built trust, you don't want people trying to figure out, I don't know if this is the guy I trust, right? So, because it's a big thing in retail, is to build trust in the community.
Yeah, to get even LinkedIn, you're thinking, oh, I'm all retail.
I don't have a LinkedIn, so I just learned something right now.
I would still get it, just because that's where you're going to start building the relationships and connections with possibly your suppliers or other people in the industry that you might want to talk to in the future. You know, that's where the B2B relationships are typically made. So if you're going to bring that component into your business, I would definitely get on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah, I am, but I'm from what was my regular job until this September. What are some of the specific things that you think really in social media should they be concentrating on to drive people to their store, to their website?
One would be actually be social on social media. A lot of people is like, I'm just gonna post this out here, set it, forget it, see what happens. Really, it should be about building those relationships. When you're in business, that's kind of the whole point of meeting people and get your name out there. So start with that, but also be consistent with what you're posting.
So you're saying is, so when people finally leave a comment, is to reply to comments.
You should do that, yeah. You should be going to other people's pages and commenting on what they're saying, and building the relationships with not just your customers, but your suppliers and everyone else. And that way, people get to know you better.
And if you have larger followers, does that help you? Like if Marvel and DC decided to follow me, would that help my traction?
Give you more clout. They might see, your customers might see that, and it's like, oh, okay, these guys are right here. But the way algorithms work, I don't really think that comes into play at all. Yeah.
So like, I'll be completely honest. I am, one of the worst things for me is I may make some nice posts now and again. The YouTube whole thing is not me. It's Bearded Rooster Productions. They do an amazing job making me look competent. But yeah, so this is all new for me. I'm learning with you guys right now. So some of my questions may come out of left field, may not be pertinent, may, just from my stupidity in the whole online. And yeah, it's because I'm an old guy. I'm not a boomer though. I'm a Gen X, so watch it.
What we're doing right now though, this is the king of content though. This is what you should be doing for your social media, is really making these videos, like not just even just like this, but just make video content, because that's really what people want to see on the internet right now.
Oh wow. See, I was right without even knowing I was right.
And you can clip this stuff too, because YouTube Shorts, Instagram videos, TikToks, they're all coming out. You're making long form content like this. You can use other AI video tools to clip these into smaller videos as well, and then you repurpose your content.
Man, I really need to, that is one thing I really need to do. I don't make enough smaller content. I do a lot of shorts, but they usually don't have anything to do with my long form content. And from what I've been seeing is that people are liking my shorts, but it's not driving, and I'm getting a little bit of subscribers from it, but it's not driving people to my long form content, which is really where I make that passive income to help pay to do all this.
Right, but I would take that same stuff that you're doing and even clip this video into all those little videos, put it on Instagram, TikTok, and you're gonna reach a lot more people.
Yeah, I mean, I have an ad that we made. It's on YouTube. It's a lot of fun, and I wanted to put it on Instagram, and I just haven't been able. I couldn't download, because I do most of my stuff through my phone. So I wanted to download it from the YouTube app, and I couldn't download it from the YouTube app to my phone. I know I can download it from my computer here, but like as everybody knows, I'm always on the run. I got 2 jobs, and I got family and all this other stuff going on, and dogs. You should have
Life
a dog.
of the entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I couldn't do it from my phone, and so I was kind of stumped. But I really want to get that on Instagram because May 4th is going to be huge. So Instagram right now, you think, or the whole thing with TikTok, I don't want to go into the whole drama with them trying to get rid of TikTok or anything. Where do you think the traction's at? Or is it kind of age-based? Like Instagram is more like the old school people, probably down to maybe 25 and up, 25 years old and up. And then if you want to reach younger kids, you really have to go to TikTok? Or
I wouldn't say you have to, but say with Facebook specifically, people have been referring to that as the boomer site lately.
Right.
So you're going to have your older demographics on that. Instagram, maybe a little bit younger. And then TikTok, yes, you will have them much younger typically. But I honestly don't foresee TikTok going anywhere.
Right.
Maybe they get bought, maybe not. I say still use it. Until it dies, keep using it because it's still popular.
Is on TikTok, is it more of, it seems like it, to my wife watches. She loves TikTok, right? I don't even have it on my phone, but she loves TikTok. Now, is it more of like the whole, like she loves the action videos that like there's a lot of stuff happening. Is that kind of where that's at? Is they don't want to see like a picture with music behind it and words. They want to see more of a, Instagram like is a lot of just like, oh, here's a picture, here's some words behind it. Maybe I put music to it.
I've seen that a lot on Instagram. I think it might, even doing that would work well. I can't see that kind of thing working well on TikTok. That's just somebody's just gonna flick it right up.
Yeah.
So they want to see something that actually entertains them.
Right. Okay. So be entertaining. There you go.
Just like this.
Yeah. Let's go a little bit into, you talked about websites and like getting everything branded. I wanted to start with social media because I think that is a really big part. We have a lot of people selling comics through social media. There's a lot of Instagram claim sales. There's a lot of people are using TikTok to sell comics, YouTube to sell comics, and also on Facebook. They're doing live auctions, and they're also like using it. They have a shop, which I did use, but I haven't been using for a while now, but through Facebook. So let's get into like your own domain, and let's start out as like right at the beginning. What's the process to getting a website?
If you already have an established business, then with the name and you don't already have your domain, then you're gonna be possibly hunting for a while, figuring out what you want. If you're stuck on, I gotta get that .com. If you are just coming in, I would definitely scrutinize your name try to get the .com. Don't get any hyphens, don't get any numbers, get a good, solid, short, memorable domain. But if you miss that boat, there are other top-level domains, .net, .org, everything else, and there's more to come every day, seemingly, that you're going to be able to get to. You can even try .us if you're really into the American, pride bit type of your business. There's a lot out there. Just be careful with .us. Sometimes they don't allow privacy on those domains. So you're going to get a lot of spam calls once you register one of those.
Okay. I recently bought I had an older domain, which I let lapse. I didn't really like it that much, but I couldn't get mine. Somebody had parked my name. It's an alliteration. It's like an easy one. And there's guys that's what their business was parking these, paying the $12 a year back in the day. I mean, it's not that cheap now, but it was back in the day.
It started, domains used to be free.
Oh yeah,
Back until about 1995, you could just pick up whatever you want.
They were free for the first person to take it, but those people were then reselling them.
Right.
Right. So that's where it came in. I don't know how long mine's been parked, and now here's the other thing: is now that there's a veteran organization who has the exact same name as mine. They're out in the they're pretty prominent out in the Midwest. It's a not-for-profit. If anybody buys it, they'll probably at some point buy the domain. So I have something very close to, it's Haven for Heroes Inc., which we're now incorporated. So that's what I went with. I know it's not perfect, but it's better than all the other options I looked at. You said that there possibly is going to be a .comics at some time.
There
at some point.
is a .comic, .comics there is both of those, but those are Web3 domains. They don't resolve the same way as a normal domain was. Your typical domains are all going through ICANN, and they have the regulation built out there. Anything that's coming through these others, handshake domains, they're on the blockchain.
Oh,
so it's a little bit different. They don't resolve the same way. If I typed in havenforheroes.comics and you owned it and you had it pointed, it's not, in my browser, it's not going to resolve the same way if I just did a regular website. And you're not going to be able to go in and tell your customer, oh, before you go to my website, make sure you change your browser settings so you can actually get to my website. It's not going to work. So wait on those.
So yeah, so that's really important, because you might see that that's available, go out and buy it, and well, at least you'd be holding your spot. It also, if you go to use it, it might not work well for you. So
unless you're doing some heavy crypto stuff, then you can do something with it.
Well, I might start taking Bitcoin. If you want to buy comics with Bitcoin, we'll talk. I had a lot of people come to me about building a website, right? And they didn't understand how much money a comic shop makes. It was like, oh, we want all your profit for 2 years to build your, like $15,000, $20,000, after pay, after, the cash flow, probably in that range for a small store like mine, after you've paid all your employees and all your bills. And then there was a maintenance fee on top of that. So that was not doable at all. But my thing was not how much I was going to pay for it. It was how am I going to drive people to it, because there are gazillion websites. It's probably uncountable how many websites there are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that the ICANN has how many websites there are.
You can look that up. There's millions of new domains registered every week, month.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then all the pages for those. So those are all separate landing sites. And then how do I drive them to my website? So give us some ways to get people to get to your website.
So let's start off with, say you were a brick and mortar local business as opposed to something you're going for e-commerce. First thing you should do is right when you're still setting up your social media profiles, also get your Google business page going. If it already exists out there, claim it for yourself, because this is where you're going to start off getting Google to notice you the most. If you don't even have a website. Same, you do that with your Facebook on your local page, and make sure everything's consistent between both of them. You don't have some variation address somewhere else. Consistency is key there. So once you have that, Google now allows you to start posting the same way you can do on your social media. So anytime you make a social media post, post it on your Google business profile as well.
Who knew that? Who knew that? I didn't know I could post to Google. I do have my Google. I was like, oh, I already have my Google, and then I didn't know you could post to it.
It's a newer thing, but you can do that. Other industries, you have local service ads running on those now. I don't think you're going to see that for comic book shops anytime soon, but that's another way you can advertise your businesses through Google Ads, and you can start seeing that pop up on, say you're in New York City, you want to compete with Midtown, you're going to have a hard time, but you can try to outbid them and get your ad above theirs,
Right.
possibly. Unless they're not doing it, there's an opportunity.
This is the thing, is there again is your competition. Competition for me is great. I love competition. Almost there's no identical comic shop. Anybody who's traveled around and gone to comic shop, there's no two alike. Not even the guys who have multiple shops. Not all of them look alike. They don't even set them up alike, because you're never going to get the same square footage, the same kind of cases, and the same books. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I don't worry too much about competition. I just want my fair shot at customers, right? And that's why there's certain online stuff I don't do, like Whatnot, because I don't think that they have a fair playing field for customers. eBay does, if I pay, right? So eBay is like, they go by how many sales you have, with comments on them, with you know, makes you where you show up in the search, right? I don't know if you know that if there's a way to make your stuff show up higher on an eBay search.
I'm not too versed on eBay, honestly,
right.
but
well, the thing for me is I just pay.
Right.
That's the easiest way. I pay. Everybody's like, I tell people it costs me 20% to sell on eBay, and everybody's like, it's only 12%. They only charge you 12%, 12.5%. And I'm like, yeah, but I pay 8% at least to move my stuff up higher on the listing, and to have advertising where they show people who are buying similar items, they show them my items for sale. So that is pretty regular.
So that works a lot of the same way it does in search. First you see the ads, and then you see your local maps, and then you see the organic searches, and that's where we can get into SEO and everything. So that's a whole other process.
Yeah, I've noticed that the organic searches are way lower on the page than they used to be.
And they're gonna get even lower coming with what Google's gonna be doing with their generative AI. So product search is for a comic book shop is gonna be huge, I'd say. So if you're doing e-commerce, definitely get a product feed going for your Google ads, because those will be a lot more prominent. Oh, wow. And even more than they already are. People use them. So I would definitely get on Google products.
No, so let's talk a little bit more about SEO. I know it's probably more complicated, but like kind of a little bit of an overview. What are some of the things a layman can do that he doesn't have to pay somebody to come in and do? Not trying to cut out your business, but there's got to be some like simpler things that can move us up enough locally, right?
Every single service that you do should have its own page on your website.
Okay.
So you do Magic the Gathering. Your website should have a Magic the Gathering section. Even though you're not selling directly on there, you want people to know that, oh, this is a place I can come to play. This is a place I can go every Friday. And even for comic books, you know, you're gonna have a page saying comic books, Port Jervis, New York. So you want to capture those local keywords. Make sure that you have a page for a lot of everything that you want people to possibly search for you for.
Right.
You can get those set up feasibly yourself. The thing is, though, if you have a lot of competition and they've been doing it longer than you, it's going to be a lot harder for you to rank higher than them unless you outspend them in getting backlinks to your site and things like that. But there are things you can do to not have to go out and pay someone to go fetch them for you if you were so inclined. So you could go to someone in the local news or something like that and say, hey, I'm doing this thing. So that would be a backlink to your site. One thing, though, is not directly relevant within your own industry, so Google's not going to see that and say, oh yeah, this is definitely the kind of link we're looking for.
Right.
You want links from other comic book websites possibly, or anything that would be in an adjacent industry, possibly cards or other collectibles.
So I've heard that like knowledge-based stuff, kind of like what we do here on YouTube about opening a comic shop, blogging about Magic the Gathering, like, oh, this is a new deck I put together and that kind of stuff. People are always searching for knowledge stuff, and that's a good thing to put. That
definitely would be. Every time you make one of these videos, it'd be a great blog post for your website. Absolutely. Anything that you're doing online in a long form, you could put that back onto your blog, or you just want to put an opinion out there, or you have a good idea, make a blog post. That's more possibilities of someone finding you in search for every blog post that you've written.
Oh, okay, cool. That's very cool. Now, what are some of the back end, like stuff that's probably too technical, but like really, really top level of what you would do in SEO when it's handed over to you for like hiring somebody? What are they gonna do? Again, top level, because you know we're not. Maybe somebody out there is really versed in it, but maybe not so much.
My big thing is always write good content that people will link back to. And even me is like, yeah, I can go get you the backlinks. Yeah, I can write the content that is going to get linked to. But if you just write it yourself and it's good, and somebody sees that, they're going to be like, oh, okay, I want to link back to this article in my article, because Google also wants to see other people, you linking to other people's websites as well.
Right.
That way, it doesn't just look like here's a static flat thing of text. And
yeah, I remember that used to be a big thing. That like people almost had the dictionary.
Yeah,
But everybody was doing
stuff
that. Yeah, that keyword stuff is not very effective anymore. Correct?
You're right. When you're doing a blog post, make sure you have a lot of good images in it, good links to other sources that you may have found relevant. Videos help, infographics, things like that. Google will see all that, and you'll think, yeah, okay, this guy is more authoritative than the next person. Maybe we should start ranking them a little bit higher. Oh,
that's, these are good things to know, because I'm more about the experience of a comic shop. I'm not a big internet guy, but to grow bigger and stuff, I'm gonna have to expand out, right, into the internet more. Shopify store coming soon to YouTube. We really appreciate you watching. We know this is a long video, but I really feel it's an important video about something that's important to your business to help it grow as quick as possible. I talk about it all the time, things that I forgot to do or didn't do correctly, or these are my scars, my mistakes. I'm just getting into it 10 years down the road. So stay tuned for part 2. Ryan's gonna give us some more great information about the web.